Hey there guys! Today is the 3rd of May and the Asian Readathon is happening during May, and I wanted to participate basically because I have the group book already and I really wanted to read this. So this is 1,000 Beginnings and Endings by someone called something O and someone called something Chapman. So this is a group book I have ready here. And then I also have another book I've been meaning to read for a while, which is this one. This is a Japanese book. The German title is Böse Absichten, and I got this for my birthday from my friend Sabrina. So these are the two books I want to start off with. So I don't know how much reading I will get done today. I hope I can read for about an hour, maybe finish the first story in this 1,000 Beginnings and Endings book. It's 15 stories in there and I'm really excited. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time, a fun readathon, I hope, and I will do like some updates during the month, and then I'll also do a wrap up at the end so you can see what I read for it. So I just finished reading the first part of this book, which is by a Japanese author. I got this for my birthday from my booktube friend Sabrina. And so I am about 80 pages into it now. Most of this I read yesterday because I was in the sauna. Is that how you call it? It was very nice. We spent pretty much the whole day there and it was amazing. So this first part of this book deals with the murder that is occurring. And basically there is an author killed, and one of his friends, who's also an author, starts writing down his experiences and what's happening and stuff like that, and that's basically what we're reading. So the next part now is basically finding the murderer, I guess. So I'm definitely intrigued to see what's going on here. One thing I want to mention is that the man who is murdered actually killed a cat. So I think he deserved it. But, you know, we'll see. So I'm on page 183 now. I've just read the part where it's pretty much revealed what was happening. And I don't know, this story just makes me wait for Detective Conan all the time because it really feels like that show. I am enjoying it. It's a very quick read, very short. Yeah, but it's not like the best thing I've ever read, I guess. The writing style I got used to. At first I didn't like it too much, but now it's okay. I'm really interested to see what else happens now, because we just basically got revealed everything. Yes. But on the other hand, I feel like there might still be a twist in there. We'll see. Okay, so I just finished this book. This is the first book I finished for the Asian Readathon now. I feel screwed over by the author. It was quite good, I have to admit. The ending has its twists and turns. It's very quick to read, entertaining, all that stuff. It deals a lot with like kids and school and mobbing and stuff like that, bullying. And the English title is Malice. I just looked it up. So if you're interested in this book, you can definitely read it. I would recommend it. I think I'll give it like a 3.5 stars. Didn't feel very connected to the characters or anything like that. But I think the case was very well done, but also a little bit crazy. Yeah, but this was a fun read for, you know, starting out. I think for tonight I also will start 1,000 Beginnings and Endings. I want to read at least the first story before going to bed, maybe more. We'll see about this. This is a group book for the readathon, so I definitely want to read this month. And apart from that, I don't know which book I will start next, but I'll let you know soon. So I want to start a new book, and I thought I want something quick to get through. This book is quite chunky, but I think it will be very easy to read. The English title of this is Forbidden Wish. I think you've all heard about this one. I think it's an Aladdin retelling, but he actually falls in love with the genie. So I don't know. I think I've heard mixed things about this, but my best friend loved it and she wants me to read this. And as I said, I hope this is one that I can get through quite quickly. So let's get into this. I don't even remember what my last update was, but today is the 17th of May. and I'm slowly but surely making my way through this book. I have about, not even 100 pages left, so I'm planning on finishing this tonight. This is The Forbidden Wish by Jessica Corey. The next book I then have to focus on is A Thousand Beginnings and Endings, which is the group book for the readathon, and I have still only read 1.5 stories in here, even though I enjoyed them. But sometimes it's just really hard for me to focus on short story collections. So I definitely want to finish this one as well. And then for the weekend, I am driving quite a lot because I'm going home for a family dinner thing, and I want to finish my audiobook, which is Darius the Great is Not Okay, and that would be the book for like an, I don't know, I think it's called intersectional character. So it's about a boy that is, half American and half Iranian, and he also suffers from depression, and he potentially is not, just a heterosexual man. I'm not quite sure yet, but I think that one fits the bill quite well. So these are the books I'm for now focusing on for this readathon. I do have more options, but I'm not quite sure how the time will go, and I also have a lot of library books that I want to get to that have to be, back to the library soon, and they're not from Asian authors. So yeah, maybe these will be all the books I read for the readathon, or maybe there will be more. No, there will be one more, which is a graphic novel, and I'm going to be reading a manga for that, which I don't have here right now, and obviously it will be a very quick thing, like 1.5 hours maybe. Yeah, that's my update. So I just finished this book, Forbidden Wish, and it was a fine book, I would say. I would give it like a 3, maybe 3.5 stars. I don't know, somehow the characters didn't really grip me, but there were some aspects that I really, really liked that I'll probably talk about in my wrap-up a little bit more. But yeah, it was entertaining. There's a lot of action in it. There's also a lot of references to like mythology and stuff like that, which I really enjoyed. But for some reason, all the feelings just didn't get to me. So yeah, this was okay. We'll see what happens next with my reading.
Stephen Kellner, the Ubermensch, with his fingers wrapped around a teacup, drinking fine Ceylon tea, and telling me it was okay.
Okay, it's the 21st of May, and I've just finished my audiobook, Darius the Great is Not Okay. This was my audiobook for an intersectional Asian character because Darius is suffering from depression, and also he might not be just heterosexual, even though this is not explicit in the book, but he's suffering from depression, so it is intersectional. And he is, or his family, rather his mother, is from Iran, and this book is about him going back to Iran and meeting his family for the first time and making a very special friend. And I really loved this, as you can see from the star rating that I just gave it on Audible. I think I would give it more like a 4.5 stars, but I think it's very good. I cried at the end. It has some very rough themes, with depression, stuff like that. Also with, not meeting a whole part of your family for your whole life. And also there's some themes with the mother who left her family behind, basically, and hasn't been back for a very long time. And now going back because her father is ill and he will not live for very much longer. And yeah, I actually had to cry at the part where she said goodbye to her father for basically the last time, because she knows that she won't be back in the time that he will be alive still. So yeah, very rough, but also very good. And I also read a little bit more of A Thousand Beginnings and Endings. It's such a boring cover, I'm sorry. I've read the first 4 stories and I have about 10 minutes left before I want to go to bed. So I'll try to read the next one now. And yeah, this is my project for now. Also tomorrow I want to read the graphic novel / manga So I can check that off my list as well.
So I wanted to do a quick update for the Asian Readathon. Today is the 25th of May, so we still have a little bit time left and I'm enjoying myself a lot. So right now I am reading 1,000 Beginnings and Endings, which is the group book. But yesterday I also started a new audiobook, which is When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon. And I'm only about an hour into it, but I'm really enjoying it so far. Rishi is a bit of a creep, and I just had that scene where she is freaking out and throwing her coffee at him, which I think is a hilarious scene. That happens right at the beginning, basically, so it's not a spoiler, but it's good fun, and I'm excited to see how this book progresses. Not so much of a romance reader, but I think, you know, whenever I have protagonists that have a different cultural background, different beliefs and stuff like that, I think it's so much more interesting than like a normal romance. So I hope that I can learn a lot from that audiobook.
I also wanted to give you a quick overview of what I've read in 1,000 Beginnings and Endings because I'm now quite far. So I had read the first stories in the beginning of the month, so Forbidden Fruit by Roshani Chokshi I enjoyed but I didn't love. Olivia's Table by Alyssa Wong, I really enjoyed. I think I gave this one 5 stars. Then we have Steel Skin by Laurie M. Lee, which wasn't my favorite, but just because I don't like the genre so much. And Still Starcrossed by Sona Charaipotra. I'm sorry. This one I enjoyed as well, but I didn't love. Now, yesterday I read The Counting of Vermilion Beads, which I absolutely enjoyed. No, that's wrong. I didn't read that yesterday. Or did I? Oh, I can't remember. No, yesterday I started with The Land of the Morning Come, which I absolutely loved. Gave this 5 stars. Then I read The Smile by Aisha Said or something like that. Absolutely loved it. Gave it 5 stars. Then I read Girls Who Twirl and Other Dangers, which I loved and gave 5 stars. And Nothing Into All by Renee Audier, which I also loved and gave 5 stars. The last story I read yesterday was Spear Carrier, which wasn't quite my thing. I thought that the themes it dealt with were quite interesting, but I did not enjoy the execution so much. So I would give this 3 stars. And in the morning today, I've read Code of Honor, which also I would give 3 stars to because it was interesting, but just not my cup of tea. And then I read Bullet Butterfly, which I would probably give 4 stars, and I really enjoyed as well. So the only ones I have left now are Daughter of the Sun, The Crimson Cloak, and Ice Like Candlelight. So I will definitely finish this very soon. So I just finished 1,000 Beginnings and Endings, the story collection that is the group book for the Asian Readathon. And I must say, I absolutely loved this. I would give it a 4.5 stars, I think, like somewhere between 4 and 4.5. I loved pretty much every single story in here, apart from 2, and this is 15 stories. So yeah, I'm amazed. This book was so good. And it's ridiculously cheap on Amazon in Germany. I don't know why, but the hardcover sells for like €5 or something. So please pick it up. It's amazing. I'm gonna send a copy of this to a friend of mine, I think, very soon, because I think she would really enjoy this. And yeah, this was so great. I'm so happy I've read this. And also look at this one. Look at this one. What is she up to? She's planning something. So I just quickly pulled up the challenges again, because I want to see what I've read, if I've read anything, everything that I wanted to. So the first challenge is to read any book by an Asian author, and for that I read The Forbidden Wish, which is an author that is half Syrian, I think. Then read a graphic novel featuring an Asian character. That I still have not done, but I have this little graphic novel. See, that's what I wanted to read. I cannot forget about this. Then read a book featuring an intersectional Asian character. For that I read Darius the Great Is Not Okay, which features a character that is half Iranian and also suffers from depression. Read a book by an Asian author that was originally written in their native language. That would be the Japanese crime novel that I've read. I don't remember the English title, but that was the first one I finished. And then we have read the group book 1,000 Beginnings and Endings. So this is great. I only have to read a graphic work, and then I have everything for this readathon, which is pretty cool. I'm not quite sure what I will start next. Maybe I'll start another book that is written by an Asian author, because we still have about a week left, and I think next week I can read a little bit more, but also I have so many library books that I want to get to, so it's a bit of a struggle, but I'll figure it out in a second.
So today is the 27th of May, and the last challenge I'll have to do is to read a graphic novel that is written by an Asian author. So I chose Chi. This is the 3rd volume, and this is by Konami Kanata, which I think is a very popular series in Japan. And these are like children's little stories about this little kitten called Chi. So let's read this. So I just finished this 3rd installment of Chi. It's just so cute. I really enjoyed this. It took me about 45 minutes, so these are really quick reads that I usually keep for Booktubeathon, but I'm not quite sure whether I will participate this year, so it fits, this readathon as well. I really like this. This is about this small cat, Chi, who was found by a family. And the main problem is that the family is not allowed to keep cats in their flat, and they can't afford to move, so they have to hide her, basically. And this installment is all about, how she's almost found out, and they're really afraid that they'll have to get rid of her because they can't keep her in the flat. And it's just super cute, and it made me a little bit emotional because, my cat just died a couple of months ago. And I have a new cat now, but still, you can't just replace a cat because they have personalities and everything like that. So yeah, very cute read, and I'm happy that this is off my list as well now. So my next reading plan, actually, tonight I wanna watch To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I've only read the first book so far, so I hope that the movie covers what the first book is, and then I can take the second book and read that, because I've read To All the Boys I've Loved Before last summer, and so I want to read the rest of the series this year, so it's finished. And yeah, that's my plan for now. It will also fit the Asian Readathon, so that's perfect, and I'm pretty sure that I can finish this book before the month is over as well, because it's not that big and it's a pretty quick read. Okay, so I just finished the movie to All the Boys I've Loved Before, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's so much better than the book because they have left out all the problematic stuff at the end, which I very much enjoyed. And it was just nice to get back into this world a little bit, so now I can read P.S. I Still Love You, which I've had lying around here for a year now, because I wanted to read it right after To All the Boys I've Loved Before, but then I didn't get around to it, as it happens. So this has about 330 pages, and I'm pretty confident that I can read this before the month is over. So I'll start this tonight, but I probably won't get too far into it. There's actually 2 things I wanted to say about the movie, but just forgot. The first thing is that I did not like that the main character always wore fake lashes in the movie. I think that's a little bit unnecessary, because it is probably something that a lot of Asian girls do in America, but I feel like it's not necessary, and it shouldn't be portrayed as necessary. I mean, she's even waking up in the morning with lashes on, and I think that's always a little bit stupid. Also, I think they could have used just like more natural lashes if they, were going for that look, because in a lot of shots it's super obvious that she's wearing like fake lashes. I just don't like it, because I mean, she is 16, she's supposed to be innocent. Why does she have to wear fake lashes? That's just so westernized, I didn't like that. The other thing is, I don't really like the name that Peter gives her. And I'm not quite sure if he's calling her that name in the books as well. I can't remember. I think I would remember if he did, but maybe he does and I just don't. But I didn't like that name. So, yeah. But now on to this book. I've already read like the first 4 pages before that came to my mind, so yeah. So I'm now halfway through P.S. I Still Love You. I read about 70 pages the day before yesterday, and I realized that a lot of the stuff that happens in the first part of this book is in the movie, and yeah, I don't know, maybe that just made it a little bit more boring for me. Also, I just don't like the way things are handled in the book compared to the movie, so that's a little bit annoying. Yesterday I've read another 100 pages, and yeah, so far I feel like nothing's really happening. We just got to the point where John Ambrose is showing up, so I thought that would happen much earlier. So I'm interested to see what happens now that he's there, but really I just feel like this is a very mundane part and not really a lot is happening, and yeah, that just makes me a little bit bored sometimes. Also, I'm 2.5 hours into my audiobook When Dimple Met Rishi right now, and that one I'm not too impressed with either. They are just at the point where they decided to team up for this project that they're working on, but I just don't really like how they feel about each other. I'm not the biggest fan of Dimple right now. I can't really put it into words, but I just feel like, I don't know, there's this theme of like true love running through this, and I don't really like this. We'll see how it goes on. I'll probably check back in with you soon. So I have pretty much 100 pages left of this book now. I won't finish it tonight, but probably tomorrow. I'm not really impressed by it, I have to say. I really did enjoy the first book because it has like important themes in it, like the sister going away to a different country and stuff like that, and it just really touched me, and I also liked the romance part. But now with this one, I'm not really a fan of the romance. I think Peter is a super sweet guy. I really do enjoy him, but I feel like he doesn't get the best portrayal in this book. I'm not a fan of John so far. Maybe it will happen, but right now I'm not. He's kind of boring, and I don't know. Right now they're playing their game, and I think it's a cute idea for a game. I would actually really like to play this. It sounds like fun, but also it's like not so super interesting to read about. So as I said, 100 pages left, and yeah, I'm not quite sure how I feel about this right So I finished P.S. I Still Love You this morning. It's the 30th of May today, so I have 2 days left for this readathon. I would still give this about a 2.5 stars. I was quite underwhelmed. There was really nothing this book did that the first book in the series didn't do better. So yeah, this was quite disappointing, a little bit boring, and I just really didn't like what happened. I didn't like how Peter was portrayed, and also, you know, I don't know, I just didn't like it. So I'll probably read the last book at some point, but for now I'm pretty glad that this is over. So the last book I want to start for the Asian Readathon is In Order to Live, because I had this on my shelves for a very long time and I still have not picked it up. I thought this would be quite big, it looks quite hefty, but it's under 300 pages. I'm still not quite sure whether I can read all of this till tomorrow, but we'll see. I'll pick this up later today because for now, even though it's a holiday, I'll have to work on my dissertation, which is quite boring, and I really don't want to do that right now, but you know, sometimes you just have to. I have a presentation due on Monday, and I really have to do quite a lot for it still, so let's get working. Hey there guys, today is the last day of the Asian Readathon, and I've come to terms that I will not be finishing In Order to Live for this readathon. Yesterday I read about 90 pages of it, and I think it's super interesting, and so far I am enjoying it. The story that is told in here, which is not really a story because it's a memoir kind of, but it's very harrowing and quite disturbing to think about, you know, that these conditions still exist and people still live like that. So yeah, I'm really loving this book, but I don't want to rush it, and the pages are quite big, so there's a lot written on each page, so it takes me a little bit longer to read. I hope that I can read another 100 pages of this today, and then I wouldn't have like that many left, like maybe 80 or so. But as I said, I just don't want to push it and rush and stuff like that. So yeah, so far really loving this one. So I just finished the first half of In Order to Live, which is the part about North Korea, And yeah, this is the first part, about half of the book. I really like this book so far. I think the way the story is told is very good. This is really captivating. I really like the writing style, and I think it's very easy to imagine what she is describing. I really hope that sometimes she is exaggerating. This is so hard to imagine that this is a person who is younger than I am, and this is the way she grew up. It's definitely horrible. The next part is about China and how they arrived there after leaving North Korea for the first time. I think that will be a very difficult part because I think there will be some sexual harassment, stuff like that. Yeah, but I'm excited to read on, and I'm glad I finally picked this book up because I was, always not feeling in the right mood for this. So yeah, I'm really glad I'm reading it finally. Hey there guys, it's the 1st of June, so it's officially the end of the Asian Readathon. I wanted to tell you how far I got yesterday night. So I managed to get to page 200 in Order to Live, so I finished the China part. I only have the South Korea part of this book left now. I'll probably finish that today, but it will not be, done for the Asian Readathon, unfortunately. Also, I'm about 4.5 hours into When Dimple Met Rishi on audio, but I'm not really enjoying that one too much. I really don't like Rishi, and I don't like Dimple for liking him. So yeah, so far it's like a 2.5-star book for me, unfortunately. But we'll see how that turns out. But I have about 6 hours left of that, so yeah, I'll listen to it a little bit more in June. And so this was the vlog part of this readathon. I will film a little conclusion wrap-up part tomorrow probably to let you know all the things I've read in a little overview. I hope you enjoyed this and stay tuned for this. So I wanted to do a quick wrap-up at the end of this video and just go through all the books that I've read this month again, so you have a little bit of an overview. Don't want to talk about these too much now because you've heard a lot about them already, but just to run you through again. So the first book I finished in May was this book by Keiji Higashino. I remember I've looked up the English title, but I forgot again. The German title is Böse Absichten. This was a very unique crime novel because it had so many layers and you never really knew whom to trust and stuff like that. And the characters are all very unlikable, but the twist is definitely something you don't see coming. And I felt really foolish at the end because I, have been so wrong with this book. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. Yeah, I would recommend it if you like Japanese crime novels. The next book I finished was The Forbidden Wish by Jessica Khoury. And this is a retelling of Aladdin, but the genie is actually a girl and she starts to fall for him. So I did like this, but I had, like positive thoughts and negative thoughts. What I did like about it is that it portrayed the whole genie thing a lot more realistically or more true to the original myth than the, Disney version of Aladdin. But I didn't really love the characters. I didn't connect to any of the characters, and it's quite a hefty book. I mean, it is young adults, so you get through this quite quickly. But yeah, I wasn't completely convinced, so I gave this one 3.5 stars as well. I wish I would have felt a little bit more about the characters and actually cared about what's happening in this book. Also, I don't like Aladdin. I don't like his character because he seems to be like so unable to do anything and he always needs to be saved by others. So that's probably also a reason why I didn't like this book too much, and that's really not the fault of the author. Next up, I finished my audiobook for the month, which was Darius the Great is Not Okay, which I absolutely loved. It gave me a lot of feels. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I liked Darius as a main character. I liked the friendship dynamic. I liked how depression was portrayed and also how I learned so much more about Iran. I definitely loved this book and I would highly recommend you pick it up. Next, I finished 1,000 Beginnings and Endings, edited by Ellen O and Elsie Chapman. This one I also gave 4.5 stars. I absolutely loved it. This was probably the best collection of short stories I've ever read. This is all inspired by myths that are popular in Asia, or, you know, that originated in Asia. And the stories were all so unique and so wonderful. I think there's only like 2 stories in there that I gave 3 stars to, and all the others I loved so much. I think this book is great, and it was very cheap on Amazon here, so if you can get it for cheap, this is gorgeous, this is perfect. Just get it and read it, and I hope you love it as well. Then I finished this little graphic novel about Chi, which is this tiny cat. This is the 3rd volume of this, and yeah, this by Konami Kanata. I do like these a lot. I think they're so adorable and cute, and they deal with a little kitten that was found by a family, but the family is not allowed to keep pets in their flat, so they have to hide Chi, but she is a naughty little cat, so obviously not everything goes so well. And I gave this one 3.5 stars as well. This is mainly made for children, but you know, I just love cats, so it's super cute. Next up, I finished P.S. I Still Love You after watching the To All the Boys I've Loved Before movie. I loved the movie. I thought it was very well done. Part of the movie actually is already what happens in this book, which I didn't know, but it wasn't like too bad. I gave this book 2.5 stars. It was the biggest disappointment of the month because I actually thought it would be, you know, very fun, really cute and stuff like that, but I found it to be very bored all the time. I didn't really care about anything. I did not like the way Peter was portrayed in this book because I think his character actually is much better than he looks in this book, and I think he really does do things that I can relate to, but he's always portrayed as a bad guy in this book. And also I did not like that weird party they had at the retirement home. Like, what was up with that? Did they really glorify, you know, World War II and, you know, having a party where you think you're gonna die after? I don't know. I found that very weird. I mean, I like the whole 50s vibe thing. I totally find that fascinating as well. But making it such a war-themed 50s party is super weird. I found this super weird. So yeah, maybe I just got that wrong because I don't know a lot about American history, because I'm not from America. But yeah, it just felt weird to me. And the last book I started for the Asian Readathon was In Order to Live by Yeonmi Park, but I did not get around to finishing this in time for the readathon, so I'll talk about this more next month. So this is on my currently reading pile, as well as the second audiobook I started, which is When Dimple Met Rishi, and so far not really into it, to be honest. But you'll hear more about that in my next wrap-up. So let's talk about the challenges that I managed to do. So one challenge was to read the group book, which I did. It was 1,000 Beginnings and Endings and had a ton of authors that were from all over Asia, which is cool. Then we have a translated book that was originally written in the language of the Asian author, and for that I have the thriller by Keiji Higashino, because this was originally published in Japanese. I don't know why I can't talk today. This is gonna be a nightmare to edit, but yeah. Did that. Then we have read a book with a intersectional Asian character, and for that I listened to Darius the Great Is Not Okay because he also suffers from depression, and this is also our own voices story. And the kind of Asian country this is, you know, set in and inspired by is Iran, so Persian basically. The next challenge was to read a graphic novel from an Asian author, so I decided to go with Chi, and this is again from Japan, because I didn't have any graphic novels that were not by Japanese authors, so this had to do. And then lastly we have read a book by an Asian author. I actually did that twice, so we have P.S. I Still Love You, and Jenny Han I think is Korean or half Korean, something like that. I don't actually know. I should have looked that up, sorry. And then also A Forbidden Wish because Jessica Khoury is from Syria, I think. And with the 2 books I started, I think When Dimple Met Rishi is you know, inspired by India and American Indians, and then In Order to Live, obviously North Korea. So yeah, that would be my wrap up for the Asian Readathon. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you participated as well and read some great Asian books. Let me know which one was your favorite down below, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!